Yo, today's video is on Lifetime Fitness, basically general fitness, what most people do. Got a membership over at Lifetime because I was a member over at the Good Samaritan Wellness Center. Got kicked out and expelled from Good Samaritan Wellness Center because I wouldn't wear a mask. And I wouldn't wear a mask because it's freaking ridiculous for me to be hauling ass on a treadmill. And they're like, they come up to me and they're like, sir, you got to put a mask on. And there is one person in the 80,000 square foot facility who decided to tell on me, which sounds a lot like the type of stuff that happens when you're a kid and you get tattled on. You're out there minding your own business, like burning ants with a magnifying glass. And your sister goes inside and goes, Mom, Andrew's killing ants. And not that this actually happened, Sarah. I'm sorry. But the point remains that the person then comes downstairs, like, you put a mask on. I'm like, I'll be done. There's literally no one here. I came here at 9 p.m. at night. Sir, they call the freaking police, and I'm out. But anyway, I'm at Lifetime. And while I'm at Lifetime, one of my favorite things to do, now that there are a lot of people around, also not wearing masks, because Lifetime doesn't enforce it, because it's not what you should be doing when you're exercising. The reason the freaking oxygen deprivation masks don't work, that you saw the Bane mask, is because it freaking ruins your diaphragm breathing patterns. Whatever. What I do get, now that I'm over there, is the ability to kind of observe what's going on with a lot of people. A lot of people over at Lifetime, and I'll be doing my sets, and the reason I go to these places, being a functional fitness person, is because I do like to hit the hamstring curl machine, because I have a lack of hamstring engagement when I do the things like deadlifts, squats, kettlebell swings that you would think lunges would typically work your hamstring. So I got to help keep those suckers engaged and caught up with the rest of my body. Various other things I like to use there. I use the pool, I use the sauna, steam room, cold tub, but I get those benefits there. And when I'm on the fitness floor, I get to see how most other people make their day through exercise. So I'm very much engaged with the community. I follow the things on the internet that make sense to me. They're doing body weight movements. They're doing compound movements. It's full range of motion. They're high intensity, constantly varied functional movements, aka CrossFit. I mean, at least when Dave Castro and Greg Glassman were talking about it. And it makes sense. They're all in great shape. Their bodies look fantastic. There's no asymmetries for the most part. Human bodies are awesome. And I like looking at them, and I like kind of understanding why they look the way they look based on what they're doing. So when I'm on the fitness floor at a place like a Lifetime, you start to notice some things. You notice that people don't really look the same way that the functionally built people look. And they might like it. Like maybe they have freaking huge arms and small chests, which isn't common. I don't know why I said it, because most people at these places love the bench press. There's never a free bench press at Lifetime, I've noticed. You'll notice that the rowers are always free. There's always free treadmills. There's always free ellipticals. There's always free Stairmasters. There's 2 Versa climbers there, and they've never been used outside of me from what I've seen. They have a torque tank, which is the sled freaking hickam bob that you can push around, and that thing's always free. The things that are always free at a Lifetime, and by free I mean able to be used whenever you want, the pool. Barely anyone in that thing ever. They have 2 huge ones. Those are the things that, in my opinion, you get the most benefit from. The things that are never free are like the preacher curl bar, and then the tricep pushdown machine, or the leg press machine. I've gone there to use it a couple times because I like to be able to pump the freaking thing out and really try to jack my legs up without the worry about loading my back with a barbell or front with a barbell or anything like that, and just give my core a rest and jack my legs up. But that thing's never been free either, because when you're at a Lifetime, they can do 1,000 pounds. I have a 1,000-pound leg press, and it's okay. But I do like noticing the things that people tend to do and the crowd is 25 to 35, which is very similar to the crowd and the population that I had at my CrossFit affiliate. But with the crowd of my CrossFit affiliate, if I took anybody who came in 3, 4, 5 days a week, and I said, hey, go run a mile, I could tell you that they'd be able to finish it without walking for sure. 95% of them, if they'd been there for more than 6 months, I guarantee you they'd be able to finish a mile without walking. And not that I know the population there that well, I wouldn't bet money on half of the people on that fitness floor to be able to finish that without walking, knowing how to pace the mile. That is, unless they're just young enough to the point where they can do it. The age is a big factor there. So when you're thinking 35, 40, 45, and if they're just a chronic bench presser, lat pull down, or leg presser, where they are hitting the planes of the body that are important, they aren't hitting the most important muscle of the body, which is the heart. They're not working your lungs. There's nothing high intensity about what they're doing. I mean, maybe it is high intensity, but intensity always comes with learning new things. So if you're always doing the bench press, there's never anything different about what you've got going on there. You're doing the bench press, and maybe it was intense when you first started it, but after you've been doing it for 5, 6, 7 years, and you can bench whatever it is, like your 225, probably more like 315 for the guys and more like 150 for the girls, because that's a good number. It's respectable, but you're not any longer getting anything intense out of it. You're not burning any calories. You're not upping your heart rate. You're not challenging yourself, and there's nothing new to it. There's no try to finish within this amount of time, so you're just sitting there on your phone at the gym for an hour or two, where when you're done, you go sit in the sauna, so you sweat, because sweating is good, but sweating is always better when you bring it on upon yourself, not when it's brought upon by the elements. And maybe you'll stretch a little bit, but when you're stretching, you're mostly talking to the people around you, and there's nothing there, which I thought was, could like throw a spear at CrossFit. I mean, there's nothing even close to how good the CrossFit community was. And while I do believe that there are issues to the CrossFit model, I just made a video on handstand push-ups and handstands and why there's a flaw in the presumption that you need to be able to do that stuff in order to be a CrossFitter, and that's not true. The functional community should, I believe, very much bridge with the lifetime community and make this all-encompassing, awesome workout program, where I believe that most people just want to be healthy. They want to lose weight. They want to look good naked. And in order to do those things, I think that you need to lose body fat. You need to build some muscle mass. And when you combine the two things, I think Orange Theory is kind of close to that, but Orange Theory is also doing it ass backwards, where the movements that they're prescribing aren't ever heavy enough, and they never go over any sort of movement from the ground floor up. So if I were to ever open up a gym, it would be like this awesome combination of a lifetime where you have the money to pump in a bunch of running machines, Aerosol Fitness, I don't know, it's great. A bunch of rowers, a bunch of C2 bikes. You would hook them all up to people's heart rates so that you could see, hey, over the course of this hour, you are doing the Orange Theory thing. You see that you're elevated for an hour. And then you would also see that they're doing deadlifts in between their aerobic intervals, and they're doing like sets of 10 so that they're having some sort of a stimulus to build muscle, not just a stimulus through the rep range and through the time under tension, but through the loads that they're lifting. They're doing it well because they had people teach them how to do it before they were thrown into the fire, and it's not just on the floor with a bunch of dumbbells that are over in the corner at an Orange Theory, and they're praying to God that because it's only 35 pounds that you can't get hurt doing it. And it's like, okay, that's done. Now go get back on your treadmill really quick and run uphill as fast as you can. So while I do think that there is a lot of good in the Orange Theory model with the heart rate and how it goes, I do think that there needs to be a lot more interpersonal, like you need to move like this. There are things that human body needs to do. It needs to hinge, it needs to lunge, it needs to squat, it needs to push, it needs to pull, it needs to push, it needs to pull, it needs to twist, it needs to bend, it needs to extend. It's got to do those things. It's got to work for anywhere from under 2 minutes and 2 to 8 minutes. It's got to work from 10 to 20 minutes. It's got to work for 20 minutes plus all the way to 3 hours. Those are all things that need to be done with the human body. And when you walk into a CrossFit affiliate, mine, for however many years, you see that these people were able to do those things. Did they look as good as possible? A lot of them did, yeah. Did they do it at the expense of some soreness and a little bit of just like extra that didn't need to be done? I also say yeah. I say that there's probably a better way where you're not really throwing as much damage onto the body. I think that you can do it without all the pizzazz. It's a little bit more boring. So the bridge would need to be something along the lines of what looks good and is fun and does bring in the community vibe where people like to sit around and stretch at the lifetime and they're all just la-di-da-di-dying. CrossFit had the community and it was very engaging and people liked to come on in and do those things. And that was good too. But there needs to be the fitness. You're going to the gym. Why? You go to the gym because you want to look good, feel good, and live forever. As long as possible. You don't want to be beat the hell up all day. that would be my gym if it were to ever happen. So if you happen to watch this video and you have thought, Andrew, are you ever going to open a gym and not just run people out of your freaking garage at $150 an hour? Then the answer is I've thought about it, and I'm always thinking about it. And if there's someone on here with a bunch of money and you want to help me out, I'm your guy. Andrew Hiller. Bye.